It's time for another episode of MoState Update, the official podcast of Missouri State Athletics. Now, here's your host, the new voice of the Bears, Corey Riggs.
Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year, as we've got our first installment in 2026 of MoState Update, the official podcast of Missouri State Athletics. I'm your host, Corey Riggs, and we hope all of you had a happy and healthy holiday season. And it is time to get back to work. Men's and women's basketball have been going already, and Missouri State men's basketball off to a 5-win run, as well as winning 3 in a row to start Conference USA. The Lady Bears have already won their first Conference USA game in their inaugural season in their new league, so everybody's off to a great start in the new year, and so is Missouri State football. As earlier today, Missouri State Athletics announced and introduced their brand new head coach, the 23rd head coach in the history of the Missouri State football program that dates back 114 seasons, and that is former SMU Chief of Staff and Offensive Coordinator Casey Woods, as he takes over as the 23rd head coach in Missouri State football history. Today, after the press conference and his media scrum, I got a chance to sit down with the new head coach of the Bears, and we will share that with you here after the break. So thanks for finding us again here in 2026, new year and new interviews here on MoState Update. When we come back, we'll sit down with the new head coach of the football Bears, head coach Casey Woods. Welcome back to a very special installment of MoState Update, everybody, the official podcast of Missouri State Athletics. We waited until this day in the new year to bring back the podcast because it is a special day in Missouri State football history as we get ready to sit down with the new head coach of the football Bears, Casey Woods. Casey, first, congratulations on the job. Second, you just got done. You just stepped off the podium of doing your introductory press conference. A great crowd on hand here in Great Southern Bank Arena. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, man. Ready to get to work. There's good energy here and good folks, and it was fun. Awesome. A great crowd. I was really excited about that, and there's people that are invested, and there's people that are paying attention, and there's a lot of – everybody was locked in and nodding their heads, so I don't know what I said, but I'm glad that –
Come on now. That's what you had notes. I saw the notes up there.
I'm kidding. It was fun, though. I'm great. What an honor. What an honor to be here and be the coach here, and big thanks to Dr. Williams and Patrick Ransdell for putting us in position to live out a personal dream of mine, and then, man, ready to get to work so we can push Missouri State to the heights that we know that they can all get to.
Well, let's start with the process. Obviously, I don't expect you to share all the details behind the scenes with me, but what was the process like for you as far as having the job, your offensive coordinator, chief of staff at SMU with Rhett Lashley? You come here, you play Missouri State early on in the season, and then all of a sudden, it's kind of the height of the end of the season. Everybody's getting ready for bowl games, and then your phone starts ringing. Walk me through what that was like for you.
Well, it is. It's madness. My wife tells me that she used to love Christmas time, and now she's mad at me because it's turned into such a bonanza here at the end of the season. But it was, it's the nature of the beast, and it's where they put the transfer point. It's, we're in the reactionary era of college football, so everyone's doing their best to work around the schedule that's been given to us. And so credit to Coach Lashley. He's been really, really supportive of my dream to be a head coach and has really given me an opportunity to develop under him there at SMU and do take some things off his plate with that chief of staff title and do some things. So we get to the end of the season there, and my agent had called, and there was, multiple suitors that were out there and had an opportunity to do that. Some weren't the right fit. Some I probably wasn't the right fit for them. And so, when Patrick finally called and had an opportunity to visit with them, I was really excited. And one of the reasons that I was really excited is by what I mentioned about the game that we had played here in September. I thought that there was good energy. I thought there was a good crowd. I thought there was a fun place to watch a college football game. You could tell that people were invested in what was going on, and I thought, man, there's some spunk here. This is a cool spot. And so when he did call, then I heard him out, and to hear like I said, the biggest thing that we had going for us at SMU was success and alignment, which leads to momentum. And, when I heard what the alignment structure was here between Dr. Williams and Patrick, and then obviously the recent success that they've had with really under-resourced and have done a good job having success. And, that creates the old Mo that we talk about, ironically here. But it's so that part was a lot of fun. And so it was pretty quick moving from the standpoint of, I believe that I had my initial conversation with Patrick on a Saturday, and I tell you, I'd been sick, crazy sick at the end of the year, and but it was kind of like this one light 3 hours that I felt pretty good. Went in, interviewed, did good enough, I guess, during the interview, and so they were. It's funny how God works things out sometimes, but they were playing the bowl game in Frisco. Obviously, I live 35 minutes or something from Frisco, and so there was an easy opportunity for me to get a interview once they had narrowed it down to whatever number that they were working with to do the in-person interviews. It was really easy for me to get to Frisco, and so we had a practice that morning, a bowl practice. I drove up in the afternoon to meet with Patrick and his team, and you could just it was one of those things that you knew, and there was instant connection, there was instant the vision that they had, and the kind of blank slate that they had. Like, hey, we're ready to invest and willing to do it, and we need somebody that's got a vision. And at least I got a vision. And so it really worked out. It was super cool. So that was Saturday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday. I talked to my agent, and his communications with Patrick were really, really positive from that standpoint. I know they had to get to Thursday. They called, and it was kind of at the informal stage of, hey, would you take this job? Yes, yes, where we are. And then I know Thursday they had to meet with the Board of Governors and get all that through Dr. Williams. So I had a Zoom at some point, either Wednesday or Thursday, with those guys, got the job offered. They played their bowl game that night. And again, it was Patrick and his team did a great job scrambling together an opportunity to speak to the team. So I was able to do that Friday before they boarded the buses to drive back to Springfield. I thought that I didn't know, with the portal coming in and the relationships changing and all that, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to talk to 100% and meet 100% of the team. But if I could meet, and I think they scrambled together about 65 guys, and really thankful to Patrick, really thankful to the previous staff for allowing that to happen and get in there and meet some of those guys. So at least they had a first impression headed into this portal season, knowing that from that meeting time, I won't get to meet with them again until, next Sunday will be our first team meeting. And so, it's been a whirlwind since then, reaching out and communicating with every single player on this team, really starting to build recruiting list and what we've got to do in order to set a team to begin the spring semester, building a staff to help me do that. And all that's been a ton of fun. It's been a whirlwind, and then still kind of on the back end trying to help SMU win their bowl game, which ultimately we were able to accomplish and do. And really appreciative to Coach Lashley for letting me finish that, for treating my family well. They had a blast in San Diego, and so that part of it was a lot of fun.
Not a bad place to play a bowl game out in San Diego.
No,
it's a pretty good place to be.
It was spectacular. Now, there's a song that says it never rains in Southern California, and it rained 72 hours of the 96 I was on the ground. But it was the zoo was awesome. SeaWorld was awesome. My kids had a blast. The hotel did it. I mean, it was a great bowl game. It's just, it was funny that it did dump about 4 inches of rain. They didn't know what to do.
Obviously, getting to this point in your career is important. It's even more important because you've grown up as the son of a head coach. You know what the lifestyle looks like. You've got that blueprint from growing up with your dad. What does it mean to you to now have the opportunity to start this chapter of your career, the head coaching chapter, and be able to have him as an advisor and bring him along in the adventure with you?
Well, first of all, it's been a dream of mine to be a head coach for 42 years. The one thing about being a coach's kid is that I did have the foreknowledge to understand, don't take a job where you can't win. And so I think that was obviously an attraction here is they have won, they're aligned to win, they want to win, and you can win. So big reason to come here and do that. It's worked itself out where he could join. Obviously, every head coach that's been a friend of mine, back to Eli Drinkwitz and Rhett Lashley and those guys have said nothing can prepare you for it. It's just a fire hose, and you got to you got to be a good decision maker in the sense that you've just got to prioritize what is something that you can do later and what is something that you can't. You know, I have 693 unread text messages still on my phone, 31 voicemails.
Wow.
So, and I was one of those guys that was like, oh, I'll just text the new head coach that I got a buddy that wants to be the blah, blah, you know. So now that I'm on this end of it, I'm like, all right, well, I've been that guy before. But to get Dad up here to join, one, it's a cool moment personally. Yeah. However, I think it's a tremendous moment for Missouri State and for what we ultimately want to do with this staff, to get a guy that's got 17 years of head coaching experience, 5 of those in the SEC, 10 years of coordinating in the SEC, just a resource that can do that knows how to build relationships, that knows how to say, hey, this is a problem that you need to address. This is one that, you can wait till later and make sure that we sort through that. And he's a people person. He's a great connector. He's a great relationship builder. He's going to be great for bringing everybody together, and that's a big part of what we're doing here, right? The whole "it takes us all" thing, all that is a symptom of togetherness, right? We're all here to do this. This is a team opportunity. So when we hoist the championship trophy, it's not about me or about our team or about it's everyone that's involved anything or invested anything into this program to get us to that point.
So you talked about being that guy that would make the phone call and say, hey, I've got a guy, if you've got a spot on your staff. So what has it been like trying to build your first staff that is uniquely your own from the ground up in such a short, tight window to try and have people together in time to make these calls to recruit during the portal window?
Well, I think it's been different than I thought, in good sense and bad sense. It's been exactly what I thought it would be and nothing like what I thought it would be. And so there's parts of it that have been, super easy hires, and some of the layup hires that I thought would make were, it just wasn't the right fit and the right time. And, as you go through, and my wife Lauren actually is the one that, as you develop through your career, you build these relationships, and there are, I could name 50 great coaches that could be here and could help us win, that I've got personal relationships with, that I know could contribute. And it's just the way that we fit and piece together what we're trying to get done schematically, offensively or defensively, or the, just the connectivity of the staff and how it all works out, puts you in position where you can only hire, a limited number. And so some of that part is not, I don't know that it's difficult, but it's different than what you think. And you got to make sure that you are, just be genuine, be authentic, which is the one thing that Rhett Lashley was the best was, man, just be yourself, and people will either like it or don't, but at least they know what they're getting. And so I think that authenticity is a big part of what it's been through the hiring process, and I think that we've really put together an outstanding staff. And I've got a couple more still to make, but if we had to go coach with this staff right now, I'd go to war with them right now. So
that's great.
I feel great about them, and I've got a good mixture of guys that I have worked with, some that I haven't, people that I've known for 20 years and people that I've known for a day and a half.
So 20 years and 20 minutes.
That's exactly right. And so, what we were looking for is we were looking for organized, enthusiastic people, right? That's two things every coach can be. We were looking for great teachers and great teammates. And I think that as you see the release of these coaching staff over the course of the next week or so, you're going to see great teachers and great teammates. Got to have self-starters, and you got to have men of integrity that believe in the same things that I do about family and impact and what we're ultimately trying to achieve. And I've been truly blessed so far to attract the group of men and women that believe in our vision and are going to help us execute to the highest level.
People can go online. They can look up your resume, the years that you were at SMU, at that school up north, UAB, Auburn, Arkansas State. But I want to talk to you. Everybody has a coaching tree. Obviously, you grew up under your father. You got to spend time with Gus Malzahn. You got to spend time with Gene Chizik. I'm more interested maybe in what you learned from your contemporaries. You already mentioned both of their names. Eli Drinkwitz and Rhett Lashley were both roommates of yours, basically, on this journey. And guys similar in experience, both of them who have made the jump to the head coaching spot that you do now. So what have you learned from those two guys over the years?
That's awesome. That's a great question. And I could spend I could spend 2 hours talking about the impact that Philip Fulmer had on my life and Trooper Taylor had on my life and Gene Chizik and Gus Malzahn and Bill Clark. right? Bryant Vincent, those guys who have all poured in and taught me things about football and leadership and organization and stuff. And maybe there will be another podcast for that.
Oh, there will be. We'll have plenty of time. We haven't even got to talk about your playing days yet. We'll come back to it.
That'll be a brief conversation. So we won the national championship in 2010 at Auburn, and there were 3 entry-level coaches, offensive GAs, right? It was me, it was Eli, and Rhett. And so we were all 3 combined, probably made $18,000. You know, Rhett and Eli were both married at the time. I remember Rhett introduced me to my wife.
Okay.
His wife and my wife had been roommates in college, and so we kind of had an introduction, stayed friends for a couple years before we started dating seriously. And then I remember the last year we were at Auburn, we lived in like this little 1-bedroom apartment off the Tuskegee Highway, and Eli and Lindsay lived off of the same little 1-bedroom apartment, and they had a newborn baby, and you know, Lauren and I had just started, so we weren't, and so they would trade dinner. So Lauren would go watch the baby, and Lindsay would cook dinner. That was the trade-off. So she could get away from the kid for a few minutes. I'll cook you dinner, and so great men of God, great leaders, people that never made it about themselves, which I've always appreciated. And as they've developed their career, they've been able to maintain that. And so you ask, the things that I've learned. The first and foremost was Eli at the University of up north, and and so everyone here knows that there's not 2 more different cities on planet Earth than St. Louis and Kansas City. Yeah. Right. And so he came in here, and at the time was only the only one Division I playing football school in the state of Missouri. And to watch him pull those 2 cities together, rural Missouri, and what you were getting out of that, the Ozarks and the Boot Hill, and just get everybody pulling in the same direction. And it was hard, and it was a unique time there at the University of Missouri, but he stayed to the course, man, and he challenged the people to be invested, everyone. He challenged the student body, he challenged the investors, he challenged their board of regents or whatever they call it there, and it was, and he got everybody pulling in the same direction. He was an unbelievable team guy, and you can see the product of what he's invested there now. Is there's a unified mission that exists there with all parts of the state that are pulling in the right direction, and that's something that we've got to mimic here, and make sure that we do that. Now, I don't think that there is the division here that existed maybe when we got there, so it'll be maybe a quicker fix, but still, I think there's a blueprint to getting everybody pulling in the same direction and connected on the level that everyone understands what goal we're all working towards, and also everyone's got a role in getting to that goal. And so, and then really Rhett, I was amazed, Eli too, but I was amazed by Rhett's ability to have poise in the face of what he experienced at SMU. Is a wonderful place and really neat, but a different, small private school. The investments there are incredibly different. There's 11 billionaires that are graduates that live in
Dallas
the North
media market.
There's a lot going on in that. That's just a different market, and he was able to seamlessly transition between each of those groups. Had incredible poise. Always kept it, and both of them. I mean, both of them had rocket ascents. Both of them have been Bear Bryant finalists in the last couple years. You've had championship coaches. They've won. I mean, Eli beat Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl, and Rhett has won 39 games in a championship in 4-year period. And went to the play and did a whole bunch of other things too. And so, and both of those guys in an industry that pushes you to the top and really puts you in position to absorb a lot of you can start to get to feeling yourself real quick in an industry like this, and they'll hate you real quick on Saturday too. But neither of those guys has ever let that affect them, and I think that they're faith-based, they're grounded, and they're driven, and I respect both of them incredibly, and super proud of them, and I'm going to utilize them both as strong resources as I get started here. So glad to made great relationships with them, and we'll make sure that if they got a player or two that wants to get a few more reps, man.
We'll find a way to invite them to 944 to Springfield.
That's exactly right.
That sounds like a good plan. Speaking of players, and we don't have much time left, I want to talk to you about the perceived importance I feel like you've put on a lot of the local kids that have made up this roster. Obviously, there's a uniqueness to Missouri State and Southwest Missouri, and a lot of local kids, a lot of Ozarks kids that were on this roster under the previous administration. No, there's a lot of folks making their way out to new schools and have new opportunities, but it sure seems like a lot of the young men that have grown up in this area have been able to get in contact with you and want to continue being a Bear and playing under your leadership and your new staff going forward.
Well, I think they're committed to Missouri State, and I'm glad that we could. What I wanted to give them an avenue to stay. And our staff wanted to do that. So, I mean, in the first 4 days that I'm talking right up to Christmas Eve, I contacted all 103 people that were listed on our roster, and then as I started hiring staff, I was like, hey, man, you got to double back around and make sure we're doing this. Some of them I had met in person for a handshake, and some of them had never met me before, and so I wanted to make sure that everyone understood that they were welcome here. And I think that there's a great attractive the people that wanted to stay at Missouri State are the kids that understand and believe and know and have known Missouri State for a long time, a good chunk of their life. And so in order to give them an avenue to stay and make them so they can understand the importance that me and my staff, affix to them as far as what we want to move into the future and do that. It's been fun to watch them step up and believe in our product moving forward. And that has less to do with me and a lot more to do with Missouri State and what's been, accomplished here in the past and the alignment, like I said, and the success and the momentum that we've currently generated. But we're super excited to have that. And the more guys there are even some guys that have toyed to go into the portal, which is fine. They want to explore, and as they're getting through explorations, if they look back and they're like, why would I leave a place that I love? Why would I leave a place where I'm going to get an outstanding education, that I'm going to get coached by an elite coaching staff, that we're going to have a chance to score points and stop points and get a chance to play in front of Plaster Stadium and make that thing rocking, as far as this conference goes. And so why would I leave? Then we want to welcome those guys back and put them in an opportunity to go have success as far down the road as we can. And we've had outside commitments. Obviously Dr. Williams, Patrick's really raised my salary pool has tripled, my NIL pool has quadrupled. I mean, there's things that are investments that innately in the infrastructure are going to help with some of that moving forward. And we got to keep dreaming big. That's something that's got to continue to push forward. But it's a nice start, and I think that we got a long way to go, but we're moving there, and I like our energy, and I like the direction that we're headed.
Well, we like that you're moving here. Super excited to get to know you, the staff, your family, everybody involved. Missouri State football has a ton of momentum right now. A lot of that has to do with the previous coaching staff. A ton of it has to do with your hiring, your staff's hiring, and where this program is heading in the future. And just could not be more thrilled to get to chop it up with you for a few minutes, and we'll do it again real soon, all right?
Sounds great. Appreciate it. Go Bears.
That is new head football coach Casey Woods joining us here on MoState Update. We'll take a time out. Be right back here in just a minute. Well, that's going to do it for our first episode of MoState Update here in the new year, 2026. We hope you enjoyed our sit-down interview with the new head coach of the football Bears, Casey Woods. If you want to get on board with this new team and new leadership, you can do so by going to MissouriStateBears.com/tickets. We have already got 2026 football season tickets up and available for purchase on the Bears website. Please go ahead and check it out. Speaking of buying tickets, this Saturday would be a great day to go to the website and check out the doubleheader ticket special, as we have a rare Missouri State Lady Bears and Bears doubleheader on this Saturday. The Lady Bears will tip off at noon here inside Great Southern Bank Arena, and the Bears will have their Conference USA game as well, scheduled for 4 o'clock here inside the vault. If you go to MissouriStateBears.com/tickets, you can find that doubleheader ticket special. Purchase as many as you and your family need and come out and spend your Saturday with the Bears and the Lady Bears. It should be a good time. Both teams are off to a great start in their new league and in the new year. So that is going to do it for this episode of MoState Update. Our thanks to all of you for taking part in this one and getting to meet our new head football coach, Casey Woods. And thanks to Coach for coming on a very busy day during his introductory press conference to sit down and talk a little football with us. Until next time, remember, there's no state like MoState. I'm Corey Riggs. This has been MoState Update.
You've been listening to the MoState Update with Corey Riggs. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Missouri State Sports Network.